Hi there, welcome to your 4 to 5. Don't you think we're on a first name basis by now?
Yes.
It's just Chad, Eric, Denise, and Jalen, right?
Yep.
And you.
And you. And what's your name? Tell us your name.
All together now.
Right. Good to have you here. Denise filling in. Jalen Gilkey up at the top as well. Good to have you both here.
It's refreshing to be up at the top.
Oh, yes?
Buried down at the bottom like I normally am.
It's a better view.
It's a better view from the top.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of views, not a bad one out there today.
Pretty comfortable today. The humidity level's starting to creep up a little bit. It's tomorrow morning that we're watching for thunderstorms, and that might get a little rough, and we'll talk about that a little bit later.
All right, sounds good. We are quickly approaching the Panthers' first preseason game, now just 3 days away. The team is hosting the New York Jets and new quarterback Aaron Rodgers on Saturday at Bank of America Stadium.
Yeah, today the two teams kick off joint practice to finally face off against someone not on their team.
That's right.
WFMY News 2's Amanda Ferguson joins us now live from training camp at Guilford College.
It may be quiet out here now, but it was loud and packed earlier today. I mean, this place was full of fans. It was a big day here at Panthers training camp. Joint practices with Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets kicking off. Not only is it an opportunity for the team to go up against another team, but it's a chance for fans to see one of the league's greats. A lot of fans out here to see Aaron Rodgers. I caught up with a family from Yadkin County. Aaron Molden says he doesn't go to Panthers games much because he is a loyal Jets fan.
First ballot Hall of Famer, you got to come see him. You got to come see him. He's changing the face. This is our year. This is our year. It's a great experience. I'm from North Carolina. We're big Jets fans, been since '95. So getting to experience it close to home, it's a great experience. Carolina fans are good too, so not bad.
As for the Panthers, we caught up with wide receiver Laviska Shenault Jr. after practice with the Jets. Here's part of our conversation. Laviska, what's it like to have practice with the Jets today?
Oh, it was really good, really good. Very competitive team for sure. It was fun. It was fun getting out there.
How are you feeling out here with your first camp with the Panthers?
I'm feeling real good. Being with a team that I feel like is really trying to invest in me and really understanding me for who and understanding who I am. It's been real fun.
You came at the end of last season. You've done a little bit with the team. I've seen some flashes of you. But what excites you about this offense that's coming in here?
What excites me? I think that a bunch of us is somewhat young, but we also got a little mixture of vets in there. So I think that matters because vets can tell you how things has went, and when young guys been in, it's fresh bodies. And hungry bodies, so it should be fun.
That's a good thing. Right. Now that we're getting towards the end of camp, what have you seen out of Bryce Young?
Oh, well, I mean, what haven't you seen? He's so calm, cool, and collected. It's really unexplainable, honestly. I love seeing him practice every day.
Excited to play with him?
Oh yeah, too excited.
Overall, a pretty good day out here on both sides of the ball. Head coach Frank Reich was very pleased. The players agreed too. We didn't see any fights, which is a good thing. It did get pretty heated out here, though, but that's what you can expect when another team comes here. The intensity just amplifies when you're out in that environment with another team. Now, coming up at 5, we're going to hear from a new guy on the team, but he's not a stranger to the triad.
Amanda, thanks. Saturday's preseason game will impact some of our regular programming. The game starts at 4 p.m., which is right in the middle of our coverage of the FedEx Cup playoffs. Golf coverage starts at 3 p.m. To make it all work, at 4 p.m., golf will move to our 2.2 channel for people who see us over the air. If you've got Spectrum, it's channel 1255. Our regular channel will air the Panthers game at 4 o'clock. This way you won't miss any of the action on the green or the gridiron. We'll have highlights from both that night at 11.
And Panthers fans, yeah, you may want to cover your ears because check this out. Canada Sports Betting released a new ranking showing the NFL teams with the least supportive fans. The Panthers were in the top 5. The group based the rankings off the fans' interest over the past 3 seasons. Cleveland Browns fans had the worst loyalty with a 34% drop-off year to year, followed by the New Orleans Saints, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the New England Patriots, and the Carolina Panthers. I asked you on Facebook, what made you become a fan of your particular favorite team? Jamie says, my dad, he had season tickets to Carolina football games growing up, going to Keenan Stadium every fall. It was so much fun. I'm definitely a Tar Heel born and bred. Michael said, my sister and uncle both went to Duke, and my family has been Yankee fans for generations. For football, I got to go with the hometown Panthers. Faye posted, I was born and raised in Alabama. Coach Bear Bryant was the head coach back then. He came to our school to recruit our quarterback. I'm an Alabama fan. Thanks for asking. Roll Tide Roll. And Pam Lowry says, our son and money went to NC State. And I know her son, he won't let you forget that he went to NC State.
That's great. See, I grew up in Wisconsin, so I was born and raised a Packers fan, and that's all it was. You couldn't go anywhere else. That's kind of how I've always been.
I mean, you're not allowed to like anybody else if you're
No,
from
I
Wisconsin.
had a couple friends growing up that liked the Chicago Bears, and
What a
they got made
disaster.
fun of.
Right, right.
They didn't have any other friends, and so I went the right way.
Well, it's even worse this way because I'm from Michigan. Detroit Lions, we all know
Oh, yeah.
how rough of a time they have every season, but I have to stick beside them.
You're on the up and up, though. Last year had a pretty solid
That's
year.
what I was
And,
about
and
to
this
say.
year, I think they'll make the most improvement of any team in the league. Me personally, I have an interesting story. So the first ever NFL football game I went to was a Rams-Baltimore Ravens preseason game. And at that time, the Rams were atrocious, so I knew I wasn't going with them. And so I just rocked with the Ravens, and I've been with them ever since.
Stayed with them
ever since.
Isn't that funny how sometimes just one event or something like that, when
Right.
you're young, I had a friend who was a Chiefs fan, and we're all, back when I was coming up, the Washington, that was the team around here. And I said, why didn't you pull for back then the Skins? And he said, because my mom, I went to get a jacket with that, but the closest colors they had were the Chiefs. And he said, so I just stayed with them the rest of my career. Not a bad move these days.
Not at all.
Right.
The investment has paid off.
That's right, exactly. All right, let's talk about a forecast because we have changes coming up for tomorrow morning. It will be interesting, especially the time period we're watching is kind of from about 8 a.m. to noon, maybe a little bit earlier than noon, but this will be an unusual kind of flipped around forecast. Usually we talk about late day pop-up storms and showers. Tomorrow, it's in the morning hours, so make sure you stay tuned with Christian Morgan and Ed Matthews. We'll see what's going on in the morning time. And again, this is like a 7 a.m. to noon time frame, and then we'll clear out for the rest of the day. Right now, temperatures 83 in Greensboro, 85 Winston-Salem and Burlington. Asheboro, you're showing up at 84 right now. Wilkesboro, a comfortable 82. Overnight lows tonight, 71, but again, that morning thunderstorm possibility, and then we clear out by afternoon and look for sunny to partly cloudy skies. Our high temperature should reach about 85. Now, with that in mind and that system moving by, that upper level trough, we are in a level 2 here. So for the northwest communities, it's kind of marginal but slight for the triad for a thunderstorm risk. With this particular system coming by, we think, and here it is on the radar, we think when that moves through, really wind is probably the biggest concern. Yes, you'll have lightning and rain, but I think wind gusts probably what we'll watch for this. This is not what we think to be a tornado situation, but we'll keep you posted. Highs tomorrow at 85, that 40% chance of storms. We'll go partly cloudy Friday and 88. A hot weekend, low 90s, 91 and 93, but reduced rain chances. Next week, slight rain chances, and we'll cool back to the mid-80s by Tuesday.
And let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. The Clarios Plant in Kernersville is on fire. Forsyth County EMS says fire crews are responding to a multi-alarm fire. This is the plant on Powering Progress Drive. We'll let you know once we learn more.
We are learning new information about the man accused of killing the mother of his child at an Eden Park. According to new court documents, John Powell used a handgun to shoot into a car, killing Gwendolyn Riddick. He's been indicted on a first-degree murder charge, but prosecutors have dismissed a charge for shooting into an occupied property. Riddick was a well-known doctor at UNC Women's Health in Eden. Powell will be back in court later this month.
And just days before teachers return to the classroom, a tragedy in Davidson County schools. The district says one of its teachers died in a car crash over the weekend. Stephanie Schniggenberger was a first-grade teacher at Wahlberg Elementary. Highway Patrol says she and her husband were driving in Ashe County when a truck hit them head-on. Neither survived. Troopers have charged the other driver. Coming up on WFMY News 2 at 5, we'll hear from one of the co-workers at Davidson County Schools.
There's been more work going on today at 2 Alamance Burlington elementary schools to rid the buildings of mold. District leaders say workers started repairs on the HVAC at Andrews Elementary, the source of mold throughout the school. Meantime, they've started air testing at Newland Elementary after workers found mold at that school too. They say they've brought in dehumidifiers to control moisture levels while they evaluate the HVAC system. The district says it'll test air quality at both schools before reopening.
And as kids return to school, there's debate brewing about technology. Now, back in the day, kids weren't getting cell phones until around high school. But as the generations change, younger children have more access to devices. Let's connect the dots.
There's a growing debate over when kids should get a smartphone. Let's connect the dots. As most parents know, kids are asking for their smartphone at a younger and younger age. According to a 2019 report by Common Sense Media, 53% of kids have a smartphone by the age of 11, and the numbers just go up from there. Parents and advocates are trying to balance addiction while not socially isolating teens. And there is a science to back up some of those concerns. A study using data from the National Institutes of Health found more screen time among kids was associated with worse mental health, increased behavioral problems, decreased academic performance, and poorer sleep. But the study also found increased screen time heightened the quality of peer relationships. All this leaves parents with few easy answers. And that is connecting the dots.
So we have, I know everybody looks to me like you're the one with kids.
Right.
Talk, man. Yeah, it's for us 12, so middle school is when we let our kids get a cell phone. And in fact, I check that. Tyler, we let him have, the twins got it in middle school. We let Tyler have an Apple Watch that's cell enabled so he can use it anywhere. And that way it's kind of a little bit, but not all the way into the tech world.
Yeah.
Only because he's obsessed with screens. I think my youngest is not quite that way. She might get a phone at 12. But that's, middle school, if you think about it, when we all grew up, that's the time you start venturing out, after school activities, going on trips and all that stuff. And you need to be able to have contact.
I had a cell phone in 8th grade. Started out with a cell phone because my parents needed to be able to keep in touch with me.
That's
I had
right.
after school activities. I needed to be able to text them when practice was running late or if I had to stay after to talk to a teacher. So I think it's just all about balance and not giving them too much screen time.
See, for me, it was the sign of the times when I was growing up. When I was in high school, my parents, they said, would you like to get your own cell phone? Or would you like to get your own landline in your bedroom, like a house phone?
Ooh.
Oh my God.
I went
Take
with
the
house
landline?
phone.
Yes.
Landline, because none of my friends had cell phones. So what am I? I'm not texting anybody.
It was newer at that
I'm not going to
point.
call any
Yeah.
friends because they don't have cell phones. And you bet that as soon as the next phone book came out, I flipped through the pages and there I was.
I
And
did
it
that
was the
too.
greatest day of my childhood when I saw my name in the phone book.
They gave it to, no cell phones when I was a kid, but they gave me my own landline in my room, and same thing. I went right to the phone book. I am somebody. It was funny.
That was
And also to note with cell phones, when they first came out, you had the limit. You couldn't
That's
talk on the
right.
phone until 7. So it's maybe better to have a landline at that time because they were like, wait until my minutes are free after 7.
That's true. That's true.
It was a whole thing. Now, as summer winds down, you may be thinking about plans for. Well, we'll be right back after this break.
We get.
Well, I was a little bit excited. I started talking ahead of time before the break. But now that we are back, we can talk about summer winding down, and you might be thinking about your plans for the fall or even next year.
Yeah, you probably heard that travelers to Europe will need extra paperwork moving forward. Our Verify team looked into the changes.
If you have a trip booked and you've seen this news, you may be thinking, do you need a travel visa to get to Europe now? We turned to these sources and verified no. The new requirements are not technically a visa, but that's how you'll hear a lot of people refer to it informally. Along with an updated passport, you'll need an ETIAS authorization to travel to Europe. So what is it? When do you need one? How much does it cost? And how do you get one?
The European countries are very, very busy with travelers, especially from the U.S., and they want that safety and security.
That's why they're implementing the ETIAS, the European Travel Information and Authorization System, an additional layer of border security. To be clear, you don't actually need one of these yet, but the EU announced U.S. passport holders traveling to any of these countries for any business or personal reasons will. They'll be good for 90 days and allow for travel between any of the countries in this area beginning in 2024.
We recommend you put your application in at least 30 days in advance because it should spit it out for you in about a few minutes, 10 minutes tops, but it could take a little bit longer.
Travel agent Shay Harrington says it will require entering your ID and travel info. Then the ETIAS will be digitally connected to your passport. It will cost €7 or about $8. This part is important. Once applications are open, they will only be available via the official website and accompanying app. Don't fall for any third-party sites offering to get you through the process.
These applications are processed very quickly. Normally, you risk that by doing and using any other form of this application.
So again, you don't have to worry about these quite yet, but if you know you have travel plans anytime in the next year to any other country, the backlog of passports is still a real problem. So if you know you need a new one, that's something you can begin to tackle now. With your Verify, I'm Abby Larico.
And since we're talking about travel, here's your do's and don'ts for booking a hotel. Don't be fooled by fake look-alike websites designed to trick you. Do verify the site is secure before entering payment information. Don't assume a website is legitimate just because it tops your online search results. And always do your research. So I am a newbie with traveling out of the country. For the first time last week, I went to Cancun and I was stressed out.
Yeah.
I really was, like having your passport, going through customs and then coming back. And the thing that was really interesting for me was when I was coming back, I had a connecting flight because you know when flying out of Greensboro, you can never get a straight flight. And so it was like, get your bag out of Miami. I'm like, wait, I checked my bag in. Why do I have to pick my bag up? So I had to pick it up at the carousel, check it back in, go through TSA again. I was like, am I gonna miss my flight? Like it was stressful.
And that's why, you know, people suggest that if you have a connection on your way back, you should plan for hours because because you have to wait in immigration and customs, and then yes, you have to take your bag after it's arrived in your connection city and recheck it in, and then go through the process again.
Any international travel, to me, you have to allow an extra hour over what you would normally think of to get ready, and it's stressful. You're right.
Now I'm just gonna drive to Raleigh and just do a straight flight. No more connecting flights. It was too stressful for me.
And how was Cancun?
Amazing.
Beautiful.
I wish I was still there.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay to say. I love it.
Right, that's right.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Yeah, kind of an upside down forecast for tomorrow. When we typically talk about late day thunderstorms, it's just the opposite for tomorrow. Tonight we see 71 and partly cloudy, but tomorrow morning storms possible between 7 and noon, probably more likely 8 to 10 to be exact, but that's the time period we look for thunderstorms moving through. Could they be severe? There is a slight risk of that, not great, but really the biggest issue would be strong wind gusts. I mean, we could see wind gusts, we're calling, this is moderate actually, 10 to 15 gusting to 25. You could see some higher than that as those storms move by. Now, if we get rain early, say in the overnight hours, that may stabilize the atmosphere a little bit and those storms may not be quite as strong, but that remains to be seen. All of that is heading in our direction, and courtesy of an upper level trough really that moves by, and then this cold front. This entire complex will be moving by. And the second half of the day we clear out. It actually ends up being a nice day and a good stretch as we head into the weekend. The only issue is that we do get warm for the weekend. We'll go to the low 90s again, slightly above normal. We should be at 88 this time of the year. 85 tomorrow, watch for those morning storms, then a clear out. Friday's beautiful, 88 degrees and partly cloudy. The weekend, rain chances are very slim. Doubt we'll see much at all. 91 and 93 for Saturday, Sunday. Then a couple of storms in the afternoon Monday and 89, and we're back to the mid 80s by Tuesday. Crazy.
It's weird to me
that is crazy.
Decimals in there. Like you just say 1.5.
That looks freaking real. Look at that. That's awesome. Look, Chad, the boxes in front of your face. You need to move those. And a Chad head on top of the tape.
Where'd it go?
Look at my jacket change shades when they come in and out. That's interesting.
Hey, Facebook.
Pay us no mind. We're playing like children with Chroma key. Fun with Chroma key.
More people are losing money to scammers than ever before, but who they're targeting might surprise you. The Federal Trade Commission says people 20 to 29 years old reported losing money more often than people 70 to 79. It's important to note here the older adults, when they lost money, they lost more of it. Overall, the FTC says criminals scammed people out of nearly $9 billion last year, a 30% increase from the year prior. So we asked you on Facebook today, which scams have you encountered? Melita said the most common one I see is the what you post on Facebook is so interesting, I would like to be friends with you, but my request did not go through. That one happens all the time. The craziest one I have seen that was on a yard sale page where someone was looking for a child's family. A police officer was holding the child and there was a fire truck in the background. Lots of scammers out there. This one up here is my favorite. Barbara said, I won the Publishers Clearinghouse jackpot. They were on the way and needed me to purchase a $500 Visa gift card and read the numbers off. I laughed and he called back later wanting those numbers. Well, I read off the numbers on the back of my Lowe's reward card. He called back and told me he did not like liars and I would not be getting the money. I laughed and told him he was a liar too.
That's awesome.
You know, people often call about scammers. That's who wants to know. And I tell them, honestly, the only way you're going to get them to stop calling is if they don't believe you or if they know that you don't believe them. So mess with them.
Yeah.
Have some fun with them. They're screwing people over out here.
Totally.
Why don't you have a little fun with it?
I have a friend that does that every time they call. People put them on speakerphone and just mess with them and drive them insane. After a while, they'll just hang up. It's actually fun. I think that should be an Instagram or Facebook account where you video yourself giving them a bunch of mess.
That's a good idea.
That'd be funny.
I love the karma, how quick it was. He was like, oh, I don't like liars. You're lying to me, trying to finesse me out of my money.
I love that she gave the number to her Lowe's reward card.
I know that's a great idea. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
I don't know if anyone remembers that nursery rhyme. That was something I, as a kid, listened to a lot of the time.
Welcome back to the 4 to 5. Halftime is over with. Second half starts right now.
How's the first half go for you?
I mean, you know, it's a little rough, a little rocky, but I'm getting the hang of it.
And I mean, at least we can laugh about some of the little things, right?
That's exactly right. We've
This
all been there.
table, I'm not used to it. I'm used to just moving all around. I'm not used to the table here. So.
And you got somewhere to set your
stuff.
iPad,
It's
and
convenient.
your
I like
little
that.
controller, and your hands.
I'm here for it.
Okay,
It
good.
works.
Thank you for being here for this too.
Yes.
We enjoy it. All right, let's get to some of our big stories today. First, most Triad kids, as you might know, they go back to school in less than 3 weeks. It's also a big moment for teachers who have recently retired.
And today, Guilford County schools held a retirement celebration for all of those teachers ending their career. WFMY News 2's Manning Frank spoke to a couple of them as they passed the torch on to the next generation of educators.
Within this room, as she mentioned, is nearly 5,700 years of experience working for public schools. I wish I could bottle that up and give it to every new employee who's about to join us.
Before next year's school bell rings,
Congratulations, thank you for your service.
Guilford County Schools is saying goodbye to this year's retirees.
I have been with Guilford County Schools for 35 years.
22 years.
41.9 years. 35.1 in retirement, but I've been here for 38 years.
From teachers to social workers, Guilford County School employees are being celebrated for their years of service, and they're looking back fondly at their experience.
I started out in 1983. It was a great support team on the administrative level, on the central office level, as well as at the school level. Going through school and university was the best part-time job, and I said I was always leaving. I'm not going to stay long. I'm going to go do something else. But it's something just kept drawing me to it, and it's just been a fulfillment. It hasn't been, like I said, the top paying, the highest paying job at all, but it has fulfilled me.
And looking back fondly on their kids and the memories they made with them.
It was a young lady, she was in the 3rd grade, and her father had died. And we were having a father-daughter dance at our school, and she asked me to, would I take her to the father-daughter dance? So the next 3 years, she always asked me to take her to the father-daughter dance.
I started at Herb and Metz Education Center. This is a school for students with severe intellectual disabilities and autism. I have enjoyed every minute of it. I have learned so much from the children. They've taught me patience. They've taught me unconditional love.
As the next school year approaches, they leave the next generation of Guilford County School employees words of encouragement and of wisdom.
Find a way to deal calmly with folks. Just treat people like you want to be treated.
Learn that unconditional love from the kids and enjoy it.
You have to adapt and adjust to different situations. Like over the 22 years, things have changed.
Be who you are, put your energy in there, and go to work every day with that same passion that you started with on the first day.
Boy, think about the insight that teachers who have been there for 20, 30, 40 years can give to new and incoming teachers.
And I just spoke to a fraction. There were so many there you could have talked with for the entire day to get the amount of wisdom that they had. So it's amazing. Dr. Oakley said there's, I think she said there were 5,000 years worth of intellect and experience in that room.
Wow.
I feel like with some of these teachers, even though they say they're done, they might come back. I have my aunt, she recently retired, and she was like, I'm done, I'm moving to Georgia, because she was a teacher in Columbia, South Carolina, and she was like, I'm done, and now she's commuting back to South Carolina to help out with administration, and now she's thinking about getting back into the school system in Georgia. I was like, I thought you were tired of this. She's like, I just love it.
I mean,
you never fully retire.
And it becomes a part, I think your career does become a part of you, like, because I'm, approaching retirement age, and as I think of that, I'm like, I don't know what I would do. It's difficult to let go of something, I think, that identifies you for so long.
Yeah, and how great they could get back into just substituting, because they
that's
can
perfect.
get back into the classroom, but you don't have to do it all the way.
Absolutely.
Great story, Manny. Thanks.
Nice.
All right, let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup now. First up today, 8 candidates say they have met the qualifications to be included in the upcoming Republican presidential debate. Now, to qualify, candidates need to have at least 1% in 3 national or early state polls and have a minimum number of donors. The debate is 2 weeks from today in Milwaukee.
And the Mega Millions jackpot grew and grew over the last 4 months, but someone finally won last night. Thankfully, someone finally won, even though it wasn't me. Glad there was a winner. And that winning ticket, well, it sold in Florida at a Publix in Jacksonville. The jackpot was the largest in Mega Millions history, standing at $1.5 billion. The lucky winner could take a one-time payment of $783 million or annual payments throughout 29 years.
The entertainment industry remains at a halt as the writers' strike hits the 100-day mark. There seems to be no end in sight either. Negotiators blame the studios for the shutdown, while studios say they just want a deal that benefits everyone. Strikers were hopeful when negotiators and studios met last Friday, but some say they've lost faith when they failed to reach an agreement.
And a new study by the maker of the popular weight loss drug Wegovy says the medication could lower the risk of serious and even deadly heart problems. Results show it could reduce the risk of heart attack, stroke, and heart-related deaths by 20%. Doctors say it could save lives.
I think this really shows that obesity is a disease. This is not just about a lack of willpower, not exercising enough. And if you really do want to reduce risk of heart attack and stroke, we need to be addressing obesity.
The study could persuade more people to buy the drug, which is about $1,300 a month. But health experts say there needs to be more research. Well, one of America's most coveted destinations is on fire, and it couldn't come at a worse time. Right now, there is a huge hurricane in the Pacific near Hawaii as wildfires burn on the island of Maui. Residents of Maui and Hawaii's Big Island are being evacuated due to severe weather.
Some parts of the Big Island are experiencing wind gusts up to 80 miles an hour. 911 services and communications are down because of toppled cell phone towers and landlines, and as you can imagine, thousands are without power.
Authorities say the Coast Guard was deployed to affected areas. The Coast Guard says it's so far rescued 12 people who went in the ocean to escape the smoke and fires.
And it could be a while before they figure out all that's happened over there because they have to wait until that storm clears to get a better handle on the fires. The hope is, I imagine, that when you've got a hurricane coming, it comes with a lot of rain, wipe out some of the fire.
So the issue here is if part of that hurricane is going to travel over Hawaii, obviously the rain will put out the fire. But if it's just skirts nearby, then the winds are just fueling those fires and making them stronger. That's the problem, I think, with this. So that's devastating.
I mean, I hate to say it, but it's almost that you want the hurricane to get close enough that it will provide some rain relief because of the fire.
And I haven't looked. I'll have to look at the Pacific tropics. We're always looking at the Atlantic just to see if it's going to be close enough, because that's a game changer for them. It could completely wipe out that wildfire, but that's no joke.
Wow.
Also, the thought of being on an island when a hurricane or even wildfire, you have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Right. And now they've got both.
Ugh, it freaks
That's
me
wild.
out.
Yeah. Over on our side, though, I mean, it seems pretty. It's been quiet.
Quiet. There's nothing in the Atlantic right now to talk about. Now we say that and knock on plastic or whatever this is because September is the month of the highest number of hurricanes, and it's right around the corner. So, all right, we're going to talk about a forecast, I guess, and the chance of some morning thunderstorms. I know, unusual. The timing of this particular trough that's moving by is such that we see first half of the day, I'd say between 7 and noon, in the morning hours, you have a chance of some heavier thunderstorms and wind gusts upwards of 25, 30 miles per hour as the storms move by. We're not really concerned right now about tornado or that type of activity, but with the thunderstorms obviously comes strong wind, and we will see lightning with this. And it'll move by midday. Overnight lows in the low 70s will go to 80 by midday, the high at 85. And it's unusual because once that front clears us, it's smooth sailing for the rest of the day. So stormy start to the day, front moves through, and then we end up in good shape. And Friday looks perfect because we see that high pressure to the north bringing down more of a northerly flow. We probably won't see much in the way of rain on Friday, and temperature highs are right where they're supposed to be at 88. Here's the timing of this. You can see that line starting to move into our mountain and foothill communities by about 8 o'clock in the morning. That's Wilkesboro down to Charlotte. Then it goes right through the Triad by 10 o'clock basically in the morning, and it's starting to exit. And then we clear right out right after that. So not bad. Long range forecast. Once we get through this tomorrow morning hiccup, we are in good shape all the way through the weekend. Friday, 88, mainly dry. Some low 90s, though, 91 and 93 for Saturday, Sunday, but reduced rain chances. Next week, 30 to 20% chance of a shower and mid to upper 80s.
Well, the Queen Bee is coming to Charlotte. Tonight, Beyoncé will perform at the Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. It's a part of her Renaissance World Tour. The concert is scheduled to start at 8, so here's what you need to know if you're headed out there to the concert. Doors open at 6:30. Her shows are roughly about 3 hours long on this tour, so be prepared to stay out late. And there will be some road closures, so you will want to arrive there early. Clear bags will be allowed in the stadium. And if you want to avoid finding a parking spot, your best bet may be to use Lyft, Uber, or the Charlotte Area Transit System rail line. Now, Bank of America Stadium is ready for the Beehive. Check out what this post here on X, formerly known as Twitter. Now, they showed off some of the jersey and shirts for Beyoncé, her husband Jay-Z, and daughter Blue Ivy. What a great way to welcome her to the Queen City of Charlotte.
And 4 of our coworkers are actually off today to go down there to watch the show, and I know they were just pumped about this.
My wife is there right now as well.
Really?
Yep,
Your wife is going?
She went. She's already taken off, and she and a buddy are going down to watch. She's a big fan. Did you notice the number on their jerseys? They used Jordan's number. They had 23 on all the jerseys.
Really?
Yeah, look, there it is.
Nice. And so even if you aren't going to the concert, but you are traveling to Charlotte or you're taking 85 south tonight, be aware it's going to be a lot of traffic. That's just my opinion, but I mean, a lot of people are coming from this area. I mean, this is the only show, I believe, in North Carolina, so I mean, don't be surprised if a lot of people come from Raleigh and really all the way along that 85-40 corridor.
That may be, that loop around Charlotte may be at a standstill right now, actually, I would think. Interesting. All right, we're gonna take a break. We're coming back.
Ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together like a classic combination when a dark, delicious cookie meets an icy cold sensation. Okay. I gotta go. He has to go to the bathroom. Empty shopping malls. It's happening all over the place. Now these right here are big pieces of real estate. All right, something's wrong with my microphone. Sorry. Stop. Okay.
Let's just turn her mic off and use ours.
Okay.
I think that will be the easiest way to do this.
All right, so some are sitting empty, right, or partially empty. What are some ways that we can put them to good use, these shopping malls?
I love when I see people walking around, like just using using it for cardio, if just walking around inside.
I don't know what you could do with that. Could that be? Is there some way that people could live in, like buy the units and do condos?
I mean, High Point U, they used it right for school, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That would make sense.
All right. So there's a new trend in shopping mall survival, and it hinges on another trend. You ready? Pickleball. pickleball.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
It's so popular. I want to play.
It really is no surprise, right? Like,
I don't think so. Like, I think to myself, why did it take so long for that to happen?
yeah.
Well, somebody just the other day told me, the person who does like commercial development in this town, they said if anybody ever comes, as soon as they start developing indoor pickleball arenas, they'll make a fortune because it's so popular.
All right, so this is happening, and of course it does look like a pickleball mall, so let's take a look. This is, my friends, let's show. Come on, pickleball mall.
Whoa.
That's right, an indoor sports facility dedicated to nothing but the pickleball craze. This is in Tempe, Arizona. It opened just this week, and where there is one.
So you're going to see us opening more pickle malls, and our goal here is to create a great experience for serious pickleball players, people who love this sport. We want this to be the most fun place to play. We're bringing new people to the shopping mall, and once they're here, they will check out the shops. They'll go get some food. I'm going to go to the Nike store later and buy some clothes so I can play.
Well, pickleball is currently considered one of the fastest growing sports. They're estimating something crazy like 153% over year to year.
And I wonder, what's happening to poor tennis? Right? Everybody's
Tennis, the grandfather of pickleball.
Oh, that's so sad.
That will never go away.
So my parents recently, I would say a few years ago, took it up at their retirement community, and they love it because it's something that's easier to do than tennis. It's not as difficult on their joints, and it's good cardio.
Mm-hmm.
It is. I mean, so it used to be like, oh, that's an old person thing. Not anymore. Now everybody's playing it. And when I watched it for the first time, because all my friends are talking about it, so I watched video. It's like, oh my gosh, that's actually, you do get cardio. To me, I thought, oh, they're just standing there and playing ping pong. No,
I have never played pickleball.
Neither have I.
Neither.
My dad
None
used to
of
make,
us.
My dad used to make me play tennis, and I feel like that was a little rough on my body.
Do you know that they now have a pickleball channel?
Really?
Yep.
A channel where you can just watch pickleball all day long?
Yep.
That's hilarious.
Chad, where did you
find
two guys
this
named
out?
Chris? I'm surprised he's not watching that all the time.
The only reason I know about that is because one of my friends who who works in TV news is trying to get into the pickleball channel because it's a thing and it exists.
That's crazy.
Happy pickling, friends. And I think some real estate people need to be thinking about how we can do an indoor pickling thing.
Absolutely.
Pickleball.
Stay out of the kitchen.
That is even here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it sounds like I am in a bathroom, so I don't know what the deal is with that. I'm not even moving, so it's the microphone, it is not me. So we need to come up with a... How do you know what the problem is, friend? Hey, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together. This one gonna be better? What is it? Yeah? Yeah? Okay. Well, super fun.
All right, you got to see this weird discovery in Florida. A couple discovered an iguana in their toilet. They say they don't know how it got there, but it has a warning. They've got a warning for others.
Inside the Hollywood home surrounded by synthetic grass that owners hope iguanas avoid.
I'm pretty sure he's dead.
One squatter in the toilet
I'm pretty sure he's dead. His eyes are open and he's green.
shook Crystal
I
Collins
swear to God, if he jumps down.
almost as much as her husband.
The sounds that came out of my husband were so funny, and we searched the cameras in our house to find out if we could get a soundbite of it, because it was very manly.
Crystal's husband grew up here. She spent 26 years in South Florida, but they've never had a lizard in their house until Friday.
That was not what I expected to see.
In the guest bathroom, Crystal's husband lifted the toilet seat and found this green iguana motionless.
We both looked at each other, we're like, what are we gonna do? I mean, I joke about burning the house down, but the reality is, like, how are we getting this out? Because neither one of us do lizards.
What the Collins did next is actually the right thing to do. According to an iguana trapper, you don't want the iguana roaming your house, so it's best to close the door and trap them where they are.
It's a big bunny rabbit. It's docile.
Iguana Control removes reptiles out homes from Key West to Melbourne, Florida. Usually it's because someone leaves open doors or windows. Sometimes they climb through rooftop pipes, which you can prevent by installing mesh wire covers. Once a month, they find iguanas getting in through sewers.
That's difficult to protect against. That needs to be free-flowing so that, of course, all the waste goes away. So you can't cap that or cover that or put a screen or anything like that. So that part you're exposed to.
In this case, the Collins text a friend who used a trash bag and his hand to pull out what seemed like a dead iguana.
He's not dead.
He's not dead!
Because none felt comfortable killing it, they released the iguana outside, away from the house. But if another reptile comes back...
Now we're getting close to that epidemic area. Now, yeah.
Who's that epidemic?
Well, it's close.
The Collins might move out too.
Got out. He almost got out of the trash bag. That wouldn't bother me. The iguana wouldn't bother me that much. They don't freak me out.
Do you see how big?
Oh, it was big. But now it would be if that's the middle of the night and you open up your toilet and sit down. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine that? Oh, you heard a noise?
Well,
No.
shout out to that friend
Yeah.
that went in there and grabbed it. I would never. I like them, burn the house down. I'm running down the street. I am done. I don't even want to live there anymore.
I really wish, I love the soundbite from the woman who said, I wish we had a soundbite of my husband, right? Like, because apparently it was
He squealed.
a squeal or a scream or something.
So funny. Well, it's out now. Everything's
Yes.
you can all rest easy. All right, let's take a look at our forecast, and we'll kind of give you the whole ball of wax here because we're looking at an unusual day tomorrow. So the timing of that cold front of the trough that'll move by is strange because we see that thunderstorm activity from 8 a.m. to noon, and that'll be tomorrow. And then we clear out. 85. Friday's beautiful, 88 degrees, partly cloudy. Weekend gets hot. We go into the low 90s for Saturday and Sunday, 91 and 93. Rain chances afternoon shot back in for Monday, Tuesday, and we'll cool down to 86 by Tuesday and 87 on Wednesday. Check, check, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Check, 1, 2.
Hi, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, Nevada.
Thank you. Giselle? Hi there, Giselle. Did she teach at Wahlberg? Oreo cookie, they forever go together like a classic combination. Dark. I
just want to also double check where I'm standing.
What is going on? That's good.
Okay. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, Wahlberg.
Check 1, 2, 3. What am I asking her? What am I asking Carmen?
Hello, mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Mic check, mic check, mic check.
It's crazy to think we are having back-to-school conversations already. Many parents are out buying their children new school supplies, outfits, and helping them settle back into a routine. As we continue to tell school stories here at WFMY News 2, I can't help but to remember my middle and high school days and some of my favorite moments. One thing I remember most is how involved I was in high school. I did competition, football and basketball, cheerleading, golf, student council, and wrote stories for the school's newspaper. And while I pursued those extracurricular activities on my own, I owe it to my mom for reminding me about the importance of being involved. She never wanted me to wake up, go to school, and come home. She always wanted my siblings and I to find something we enjoy doing outside of class and own it. After all, it helped me develop more social skills and create bonds. As you get your student ready for a new school year, I hope this reminds you to encourage them to find at least one after-school activity they might enjoy. That's just my 2 cents. And that's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts right now.
Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets in town practicing with the Carolina Panthers, plus a triad guy joins Carolina.
And Triad parents are concerned that mold cleanup at 2 schools will not be finished in time for the first day of school.
An update on the work that's costing the district